So one of your assignments is going to be using, you can use CodePen if you're not comfortable with it. I'm not going to make you, but I just want to explain what CodePen is because this is what he's using in this podcast. That's actually a screencast. So
Hey folks, I want to do a quick little video here on CSS Grid and making the children of a CSS Grid have an aspect ratio, which is kind of useful sometimes. So you can see it here. This is a grid of logos, and these logos are of totally arbitrary size. They're not forced to be the same size, based on the PNGs that they are. They're all different, so kind of putting them within a grid, I don't know, gives them consistency, makes them look good. But look at how they're exact squares, and those squares shrink fluidly and grow fluidly. And they change the number of columns that they're in and stuff. So let's look at how you would do that while keeping that image inside centered and all that. I'm going to start from scratch here. Even this might not be the final product. It's just kind of an interesting thing there. We're going to want to
okay, so what he did, he went to
grid,
shoot.
and I'm using Emmet here within CodePen.
Stop. Okay. So CodePen, it's free. There may be a paid version. Free is good enough. So you go to codepen.io and go to new project. Oh, so okay, I want to pause this while I clean out some of my projects. Okay, so I don't remember how many you're allowed to have. I'm keeping this Tremble one. I deleted another one. Hopefully that's enough. So maybe 2 might be your cap on how many projects you can actually create from scratch. CodePen is a fun little thing to play with just to improve your skills and new challenges. So we're going to go to project. Okay, I don't want to upgrade it. So I am going to have to get rid of that one. Hold on. Okay, so shoot. Okay. I don't have any projects yet because I've had to delete them all. Or projects. So I don't know what that is. Let's go ahead and delete this. I don't know what that is. Are you sure I don't want to delete it? Yeah. Delete project. Okay. Okay. Try this for the 5th time. I don't remember how many times. Project. Okay, project editor, nothing to see. Okay. So this has evidently changed since last time I've been here. Click new file. What does that do? Oh, this has changed. Now will let me do it? Yeah, this has changed. Change view. Details view. Nope. Full page. Nope. Pause this while I figure out what they did. Okay, I'm back. So instead of new project, do new pen. Okay, new project, I don't know what they did, just new pen. And then it gets to what I want, which is this. His looks different, and you can change that, change view, and that'll be similar to his. And go ahead and name this, and I want you to name it your last name. CSS Grid Practice with SAS. Okay, so boom, 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 boom.
Pen, so I can just type .grid tab, that's Emmett, and then I want some divs inside of that. How many do I want? That'll give me one, but I can say times 10 or something and get 10 of them, or I can say...
See, this guy has a lot more experience doing CSS and Grid than what I have, and so this is going to teach you some neat little tricks on doing things, and that's the reason I want you to practice this, because he's just better at it. So I want you to follow along with him. The video is only about 16 minutes long.
Within that, give me images within that. Let's do that. Okay, so I have a grid of 10 grid items. Then I can say .grid in my CSS and say I want you to display grid. Why can't I see anything? Well, there's just nothing to see. For one thing, each one of these divs has an image inside it, but there's no source, so I can't see the image at all. I could put the letter A, then I'll see the letter A render in here. Okay, good enough. Let's put some columns to it. So grid template. This is my opportunity to set up how I want the vertical columns to look in my display grid thing. How many do I want? Well, I could have, I don't know, 2, and then if I put the letter B right here in this div, you'll see it over next to it, 2 columns. If I put the letter C, it's not going to be a third column. It's going to come back down under A because there's only 2 columns, so it's going back to the first column. But if I add in another column of equal size to it, then there's 3 columns. Well, I don't want to specify how many columns. In fact, Grid has a cool way to do that. I can say repeat. Well, for one thing, I could have done it repeat 3 times 1FR. That's going to do the same thing with the columns, and it gives me an opportunity. Let's say if it was 12 columns, it just saves me quite a bit of typing. It's easier to understand. But I can say repeat, not an exact number, but I just want you to auto-fill the area. And then how big do I want them to be? Well, I want to say that they're going to be a minimum of, let's say, 200 pixels wide and a maximum of 1 fractional unit big. That's kind of neat. So they're 200 pixels wide, and they kind of shrink that. That's that column trick. This is probably the most famous line of code in all of CSS Grid. It might change a little bit because that minimum of 200 pixels is a little constrictive. You might want to set it to be at some point.
Okay, so he's going to teach you guys a lot more cool tricks with CSS Grid than my basic structure of it. So, which is, like I said, the reason I want you to watch this video. And then once you get the grid, you saw how I applied some SAS styling, for the Hawking College Bookstore webpage. So just do something similar to that. You just do a couple of variable colors, and do a couple. And I don't even want nesting. Don't worry about nesting, because he's going to go into some in-depth stuff in regards to Grid. So the technical side of things, just kind of focus on what he's talking about on Grid. But the variables are easy enough where I want you to just kind of customize the grid layout with colors. Just change the background color or something. Should be simple enough. So that's the particular assignment, and you can submit it. If you like CodePen, if you wanted to do CodePen, you should be able to share it with me. So you hit save. Then somewhere there's a way to share it. Maybe it's just this particular link. Let me copy that and go in incognito and see what this looks like. Yeah. So yeah, you should be able to share this with me. So you can just share that URL if you'd rather use VS Code and then put it in GitHub. That's fine. If you rather use Cloud9 and then just let me know you use Cloud9 so I can look for it, that's fine as well. So that's the kind of the details of this particular assignment. Thank you.